Hey guys, welcome to this week's vlog. So here I am again in my sweats. I have my Namaste in bed sweatshirt, which my sister gave to me, and I really like it. I can tell that I really like it because it was once very white and now it's turning a little bit of gray from all of the washings. And I have my coffee. Of course, I can't sit down and talk organically without coffee, so here it is. This week we are going to talk about stillness. So if you haven't checked out the stillness meditation, I'll link to it in the blog, the written blog portion below. And this is a meditation that I really enjoyed writing and creating because stillness is something that I think is really important but really challenging. So to me, stillness, and if you follow me on Instagram, you saw me post about this, but to me stillness is kind of like this superpower, and it's something that is really hard. And when I say stillness, I mean not just like physical stillness. That can be really hard. So physically making the body still, and then also working on stillness of the mind, right? So really working on our meditation and perhaps stillness of the emotions. But to me, finding stillness in the midst of chaos is one of the most challenging things that you can do, because it's very easy as the world turns around us and as things go, all just different directions, and it seems like they're going haywire at times. How can we create that stillness from within? And so that was really the inspiration behind the podcast episode this week. The stillness meditation was, how can we create this stillness inside of us while chaos is surrounding us? And this is definitely one that I have had to work on a lot. And I think that I am someone that often takes on a lot of stress and takes on my environment. So if there's a lot going on around me, that I allow that stress and that busyness and that chaos to start to impact me. And it wasn't until I really started to work on cultivating a meditation practice that I started to learn how to control my mind and my body and my reactions to things. And that even if everything was going nuts all around me, I could work on still creating that stillness within me. And so what that started to look like when I first started doing it was, I wasn't able to control it necessarily while I was just like walking around and living in my day. Was I had to go to my meditation, my quiet place, and I had to work on stilling different parts of me. So first, letting the physical body become still. I'm someone, as you know, probably from watching these videos, I talk with my hands a lot, and I tend to be pretty animated, and I'm always on the move. I'm always going from point A to point B to C to D to, the whole rest of the alphabet. And so to find actual physical stillness with the body can be challenging. It's something that I see a lot when I teach yoga classes, and I have people come to Shavasana, that final pose where they lie on their back. There's some people where it's just like, boom, they go there. And then there's other people where I can tell it's like terribly uncomfortable and terribly challenging to try to go to that kind of relaxed position. And they'll be looking around, and they'll be, kind of like twitching and sighing and all this stuff because they don't know how to be still. They've never had to find that place of stillness. And so the first thing that I did was I worked on finding that stillness with my physical body. And then once I found that, it was so nice. It was just, I felt like, so relaxed, and my body could finally go to that relaxed state, which is where I believe then healing happens. And so my body was kind of restoring and renewing, regenerating. And then once I felt like I was getting a grasp with stilling my body, I started to work on stilling the mind. So quieting those fluctuations of the mind, like the mind is always spinning, it's always turning, it's going blah, 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 all over the place, and trying to just make it still. So I often use the image of a lake to describe this. So if you're looking out at a lake's water, when we're walking around and we're interacting with people and things, that is when our mind is like the water on like a stormy day. It's really windy, and maybe there's branches being thrown in it, and you can't see through the water because all the silts and all the gunk and everything is coming up, and it's a very disturbed surface. But when we meditate, when we work on our stillness, that's like that water on a perfectly cool, still day. So the surface looks like glass. You can see all the way through the water. It's clear. Everything is just serene and still. So that to me is really working on cultivating that mental stillness. And so that was kind of my second step. And then the third step was trying to find that stillness while there was busyness happening outside of me. So when I went to work, and this was even before, I was really doing yoga and meditation as my job, when I had my, adult job, I worked in management, going to work and having to deal with really challenging situations. And then how could I create that stillness? How could I not have it totally just eat me up and let my emotions go crazy and physically be really activated by it, and mentally be really activated by it, emotionally be really activated by it? How could I try to find that stillness? And if I go to that still place, it just gives me that, even if it's just for a moment, it gives me that moment of pause to, okay, take a step back, and then maybe react, and then maybe, continue on with my day, and then take that moment to kind of digest. And so instead of going right from chaos was thrown at me, and so that turns me into internal chaos. And so through this and my own personal practice, I found that there she goes. You guys know I don't edit or anything, so if Miss Mila walks by, she walks by. There's a window here that you guys can't see, and she really enjoys sitting there and looking, trying to spy on our neighbors from the window. Yeah, don't you? But anyways, stillness. So for me, stillness is so important because everything that is going on around me, everything that is, happening in my life, and this and that, and how can I create that space for me to really become still and be able to digest my thoughts and control my emotions in a positive way. I truly believe the only thing that we can control in life is our reaction in each moment. And so for me, you need that stillness, you need that clarity in order to be able to have that control over your emotions and your mind and your heart, and not letting yourself kind of ride the emotional roller coaster. So she's very busy. What are you gonna do? Hi. Hi, sweetie pie. I know I usually say I don't edit, but I might have to edit this part out. Are you comfy now? Are you comfy? So the reason that I wrote this meditation is because I just wanted to reflect kind of the tools that I had used to help cultivate my stillness in a guided meditation, so that then you could work on cultivating that stillness and finding those little moments of quiet and peace within the chaos, and not just finding them physically, but then finding them internally. And I found that once I could find that stillness, I realized that it was something that I was creating. It wasn't anything else. It wasn't, that I necessarily needed the quiet place or the soft music or the voice guiding me. It was just this place that I could go to, and anytime I needed it, I could find it within me. And so that is how I sort of started to cultivate my own stillness practice and its meaning to me. I hope that you enjoyed my thoughts on stillness. It is something that I think is really important, but also really challenging. We're a very, very busy world, and stillness isn't something we're really taught. And I think that if you can master the art of stillness, it's really transformational. So I will see you guys next week. Thanks, guys.